Hello everybody, Eric again. Like and subscribe. Here we go. Let's get in, let's, let's read about Off the Deep End. Off the Deep End is the seventh studio album by the American parody musician Weird Al Yankovic, released in 1982. This album was the first album self-produced by Yankovic after 6 albums with Wick Duringer. Recorded between June 1990 and January 1992, the album was a follow-up to the unsuccessful soundtrack to Yankovic's 1999 film, UHF, Off the Deep End, and its lead single, Smells Like Nirvana, helped to revolutize Yankovic's career after a lull following his last hit single, Fat, in 1988. The musical styles on Off the Deep End are built around parodies and pastiches of pop and rock music of the late 1980s and early 1990s, including the newly Earl Sin grunge movement. Half of the album is made up of parodies of Nirvana, MC Hammer, New Kids on the Block, Gerardo, and Milli Vanilli. The other half of the album is original material, featuring many style parodies, or musical imitations of existing artists. These style parodies include imitations of specific artists, like the Beach Boys, James Taylor, and Jen and Dean. Off the Deep End was met with mostly positive reviews and peaked at number 17 on the Billboard 200. The album also produced one of Yankovic's most famous singles, Smells Like Nirvana, a parody of Nirvana's major rock hit, Smells Like Teen Spirit, which peaked at number 35 on the Billboard Hot 100. The song was Yankovic's second highest charting single after Eat It, which was released in 1984. The cover also parodies the cover of Nirvana's album, Nevermind. The original had a naked baby in the water with a dollar bill cast by a fishing rod. Yankovic replaced the baby with himself and the dollar bill with a donut. Off the Deep End was Yankovic's fourth gold record and went on to be certified platinum for sales of over 1 million copies in the United States. In addition, the album was later nominated for a Grammy Award for Best Comedy Recording in 1993. Production. Background. In 1989, Yankovic starred in a full-length feature film co-written by himself and manager Jay Levy and filmed in Tulsa, Oklahoma, called UHF, a satire of the television and film industries, also starring Michael Richards, Fran Drescher, and Victoria Jackson. It brought Flundering Studio, Orion, their highest test scores since the movie RoboCop. The movie was considered unsuccessful, only just making back its budget, $6 million at the box office, compared to a budget of $5 million. Yankovic also released a quasi-soundtrack for the film in late 1989, entitled UHF Original Motion Picture Soundtrack and Other Stuff, which features songs and commercials from the movie, as well as new unrelated studio material from Yankovic. The album failed to be successful, charting at only 146 on the Billboard 200 and quickly falling off. After the release of UHF, Yankovic returned to the studio to record his follow-up album. Originals. On June 6, 1990, recording for Off the Deep End officially began at Santa Monica Sound Recorders in Santa Monica, California. The first recording session started with Airline Army. These recording sessions marked the first time Yankovic self-produced his songs after 6 albums with Wick Duringer. The producer and musician have parted ways because Duringer found that Yankovic would not listen to his input, and Yankovic came to realize that he could do most of the production work himself. Subsequent studio albums will be produced by Yankovic. In regards to the split, Yankovic said, "I.e. Yankovic and his band had a great one with Wick. He's a terrific guy. But I had become more and more of a control freak over the years, and I finally gotten to the point in my recording career where I felt that I could capably hold the lines All by Myself. By late 1990, 5 originals, Airline Army, Trigger Happy, When I Was Your Age, You Don't Love Me Anymore, and Waffle King were recorded. You Don't Love Me Anymore was one of the last original songs recorded during the 1990 sessions. The song is written as a soft acoustic ballad. However, the lyrics are of a literally destructive relationship between Lankovic and an unnamed girl. Although they were formerly in love, the flames died down, and they are no longer passionate. In fact, the girl hates Lankovic to such an extent that she repeatedly attempts to kill him. In 1992, when the album was finally released, Lankovic desired to release the song as a single. His record label, Scotti Brothers, allowed it under the stipulation that the music video be a parody of another music video. You Don't Love Me Anymore was subsequently released to radio on June 19, 1992. While the song was an original composition, the video was a parody of More Than Worlds by Extreme. Lankovic later explained that when the song was released, many people unnecessarily believed it was a parody of More Than Worlds. More Than Words was between the two W's. The video was a parody of More Than Words by Extreme. Lankovic later explained that when the song was released, many people unnecessarily believed it was a parody of More Than Words, and thus, Lankovic crafted the music video to be a parody of the song. The single received moderate radio attention, which surprised Lankovic because he had always thought that radio stations usually just go for the parodies. One of the original songs recorded in the 1990 sessions was Waffle King. However, when Lankovic resumed recording in 1992, he recorded a new original called I Was Only Kidding. Originally, Waffle King was supposed to appear on Off the Deep End. However, by the time the recording of the parodies for this album began, Al had written all of the original songs that were to appear on his next album, Ellapalooza, because he was concerned that one of the jokes from the song, I Was Only Kidding, might be dated by the time his next album would finally be released. A line that references the movie Wayne's World. I really love you, not. I really loved you, not. Lankovic included I Was Only Kidding on Off the Deep End in place of Waffle King. Waffle King was instead used as the B-side of the Smells Like Nirvana single and would later resurface on Ellapalooza. The album also contains a hidden track at the end called Bite Me. The song, which consists of several sounds of loud music and Lankovic screaming, appears after 10 minutes of silence following You Don't Love Me Anymore. According to Lankovic, the song was supposed to come on and scare you to death. Later pressings of Off the Deep End by Volcano and pressings outside the USA took away the hidden track in silence. The track is a nod to Nirvana. Pressings of Nevermind feature the hidden track Endless Nameless. Parodies and Polka. After recording the first batch of originals in 1990, Lankovic focused his attention on parodies. By early 1991, only 3 parodies had been recorded. 2 of them, the Cookie-inspired New Kids on the Block parody, The White Stuff, and the television-centric MC Hammer parody, I Can't Watch This, were slated to be released as singles. In fact, several cartoons of promo singles were passed, but they were deleted from the record company's catalog at the last minute. These CDs were later discovered by Lankovic and his drummer, John Bermuda Schwartz, in a trash heap and have since become collector's items. The Plumbing Song, a double parody of Milli Vanilli's hit singles, Baby Don't Forget My Number and Blame It on the Wayne, was also recorded. In a 1992 interview with Dr. Demento, Lankovic said that he believed the parody to be kind of redundant. At that point in time, given the lip-synching scandal that had effectively destroyed the band almost 2 years prior in reference to the scandal, Lankovic also jokingly affirmed that he did indeed sing lead vocals on his parody. Lankovic waited for almost 2 years for the next big thing to emerge. I don't have any really good reason why it took so long, other than the fact that I was waiting for Michael Jackson's new album to come out. Lankovic explained, unfortunately for Lankovic, the new album had several snags. On November 26, 1991, Michael Jackson's new album, Dangerous, was released. After hearing the hit single, Black or White, Lankovic approached Jackson about a potential parody entitled Snack All Night. Although Jackson was a big supporter of Lankovic's work, he felt that a parody might be inappropriate due to Black or White being about racial issues. Jackson told Lankovic that he could, if he wanted to, parody another song off his album, but just not Black or White. Lankovic soon turned his attention in another direction. Guns N' Roses had just released a version of Wings' 1970s hit, Live and Let Die. Lankovic approached Paul McCartney, leader of Wings, about a parody idea entitled Chicken Pot Pie. Although McCartney was a supporter of Lankovic's work, and he wanted to give Lankovic the chance to parody one of his songs, he begrudgingly turned him down, due to the fact that, as a vegetarian, he could not condone the eating of animal flesh. Lankovic, a fellow vegetarian, has stated that he respects McCartney's decision. It was around this time that Nirvana's Nevermind was making waves in the rock and pop scene. As the popularity of 1980s pop gave way to grunge, Lankovic decided it was time to record a parody of the Seattle-based band's huge hit, single Smells Like Teen Spirit. Lankovic later said, I wanted to make sure that when I came back after that long hiatus, it was with something strong, and it wasn't until Nirvana that I felt that I had a real contender to secure permission for the parody. Lankovic wanted to prove it with Kurt Cobain after learning that Nirvana was to perform on Saturday Night Live. Lankovic called up his UHF co-star Victoria Jackson, who was at the time a regular cast member on the show. Jackson got Cobain on the phone so that Lankovic could make his request. Cobain agreed, although he asked if the new parody was going to be a song about food. Lankovic reassured him that it would actually be about how no one can understand the lyrics to the original, which Cobain thought was funny. After receiving permission, Lankovic wrote and recorded Smells Like Nirvana on January 27, 1992. After Smells Like Nirvana, Lankovic recorded Taco Graham, a Mexican food-themed parody of Geraldo's Wacko Suave. The latter features a cameo appearance from comedian Cheech Marin, originally Lankovic had wanted Morin to rap in Spanish, but it turned out that Morin knew only some basic Spanish. However, a Belengro secretary translated what Lankovic wanted him to say from English to Spanish, and Morin read the resulting rap. Phonetically, one of the last songs to be recorded was the obligatory polka medley, Polka Your Eyes Out. Lankovic had already performed the medley at Dr. Demento's 20th anniversary special on Comedy Central before the album had been released. Artwork. The cover for Off the Deep End parodies the famous cover of Nirvana's album Nevermind, which depicts an infant in the deep end of a pool chasing after a dollar bill on a fish hook. The Off the Deep End cover shows Lankovic in the baby's place apparently swimming to catch a donut on a string, while the Nirvana cover has a fully nude baby. Lankovic instead wore a bathing suit in a way that his body position hid it. He later jokingly noted, I never really anticipated going full frontal on any of my album covers. The CD liner notes and artwork continued the parody of Nirvana's album, borrowing the same blue, wave-like graphics from the printed surface of Nevermind. Critical reception. Critical response to Off the Deep End was generally positive. Many critics praised not only Lankovic's parodies, but also his originals. Barry Weber of AllMusic wrote, in addition to re-establishing his surgical craftsmanship, Deep End showcases some of Lankovic's best originals ever. Trigger Happy, When I Was Your Age, and You Don't Love Me Anymore proved to be the album's greatest songs. Christopher Thalen of the Daily Vault wrote, "In fact, it's strange to admit, but the originals on Off the Deep End actually are, at times, stronger than the parodies." In the Rolling Stone album guide, Off the Deep End was awarded 3 5 stars out of 5, noting that the album averaged between good and excellent. Not all reviews were so positive, however. Entertainment Weekly reviewer David Brown noted that the video for Off the Deep End, lead single Smells Like Nirvana, was an old-fashioned laugh riot, but that half of Linkovic's humor was merely visual, meaning that the songs without videos were not as funny. The music video for Smells Like Nirvana achieved similar praise. Spy Magazine named it the Video of the Year in 1993. Rolling Stone ranked it as number 68 on their list of the top 100 videos of all time, and it was nominated for the MTV Video Music Award for Best Male Performance in 1992. At the 35th Annual Grammy Awards in 1993, Off the Deep End was nominated for the Best Comedy Album. However, the album lost to Peter Schickl's music for an awful lot of winds and percussion. Commercial performance. Off the Deep End was released April 1992 and was discreetly named the best-selling comedy recording of the year by National Association of Recording Merchandisers, NARM. Off the Deep End was certified gold on January 25, 2006. The album was certified platinum. The album's lead-off single, Smells Like Nirvana, was a hit on the Billboard Hot 100, charting at number 35. It also charted on Hot 100 Singles Sales at number 12, and the U.S. Billboard Mainstream Rock Tracks chart at number 35. Both the album and hit single helped propel Yankovic into the 1990s. As of 2014, sales in the United States have exceeded 1,057,000 copies, according to Nielsen SoundScan. Track listing. Original compact disc release. Number, title, buyers, parody of, length. 1. Smells Like Nirvana. Kurt Cobain, David Grohl, Kurt Novoselic, Alfred Yankovic. Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana. 3 minutes and 42 seconds. 2. Trigger Happy, Yankovic, style parody of the Beach Boys and Jan and Dean. 3 minutes and 46 seconds. 3. I Can't Watch This, Stanley Burrell, James Johnson Jr., Alonzo Miller, Yankovic. You Can't Touch This by MC Hammer. 3 minutes and 31 seconds. 4. Polka Your Eyes Out, Various, a polka medley including Cradle of Love by Billy Idol, Tom's Diner by Susan Vega, Love Shack by the B-52s, Clarinet Polka, Public Domain, Pump Up the Jam by Technotronic, Using My Religion by R.E.M., Unbelievable by EMF, Do Me by Belle Biv DeVoe, Enter Sandman by Metallica, The Humpty Dance by Digital Underground, Cherry Pie by Warrant, Miss You Much by Janet Jackson, I Touch Myself by Damazoids, Dr. Feelgood by Motley Crue, Ice Ice Baby by Vanilla Ice, Eric Booker Polka by Weird Al Yankovic. 3 minutes and 50 seconds. 5. I Was Only Kidding, Yankovic, style parody of Tony OK. 3 minutes and 31 seconds. 6. The White Stuff, Larry Johnson, Yankovic. 6. The White Stuff, Larry Johnson, Yankovic. You Got It, The White Stuff by New Kids on the Block. 2 minutes and 43 seconds. 7. When I Was Your Age, Yankovic, original, 4 minutes and 35 seconds. 8. Taco, Graham, Christian Carlos Warren, Gerardo Maja, Alberta Schlesinger, and Rosa Soy, Yankovic, Rico Suave by Geraldo, 3 minutes and 44 seconds. 9. Airline Army, Yankovic, original composition inspired by the songs of Nick Lowe and Jonathan Richman, 3 minutes and 50 seconds. 10. The Plumbing Son, Frank Farian, Be Now, Diane Warren, Yankovic, Baby Don't Forget My Number, and Blame It on the Rain by Milli Vanilli, 4 minutes and 8 seconds. 11. You Don't Love Me Anymore, includes hidden track, Yankovic, style parody of Nicolette Larson, 14 minutes and 14 seconds. Total length, 41 minutes and 18 seconds. Note, after 10 minutes of silence, the hidden track, Bite Me, is The 6 seconds of Primal Screaming, the hidden track and silence was removed from future pressings and digital versions. Bye for now!